the Dynasty Madden League grind in 365.
Welcome into the DML Network and the first show before Madden 21. It's your boy Expert, and this is Power Talk, where we're going to go through 1 through 8, which division has the best division, and then which one of y'all got 4 bums in it, and we're going to find out. Of course, I don't do any show by myself. I got an all-star crew. First up, the multiple Super Bowl winner himself, Mr. Embro, owner of those Green Bay Packers. What's good, Embro?
What a Expert. It's the first show of the season, baby.
Let's go. It's time to get back onto that grind. Of course, we got the OG in the building, Mr. Taz, owner of those Cincinnati Bengals. What's good, Taz?
What's going on, fellas? Yes, sir. The grind begins again.
Absolutely. And last but definitely not least, it's the bus, Mr. KP, going over from the Bears to take over the Washington football team. What's up, Bus?
What's going on, man? We in here.
We in here. All right, man. Let's get started. It's Madden 21 season. It's time to get that excitement going again as we get a new game. Right now, it's on EA Access. You get 10 hours free. The game will drop next Friday, of course. If you bought the extended version, you get it 3 days earlier. But it's time to get going, which means Dynasty start of the season is right around the corner. And before we start, we got to figure out who had the best division, who drafted the worst division. So we're going to start at the worst division, and it's the AFC South coming in at number 8. And in that division, you got the schemer, Mr. Forrest Gump, running away from your boy Flair. He didn't want none of Flair, so he was like, let me go to division that's already got 3 guys in it. He got those Titans under 2 rated, as Chris Murray would call him. Got the Jags. You got JB going home to those Houston Texans. And then the guy Omatic taking over the Colts. All right, Bus. This division is the worst according to the Dynasty users. Why did this division get picked 8 out of all of the divisions?
Man, I'm guessing because of the users that's in this division really haven't won anything. But I think it's going to be one of the most interesting divisions, to be honest with you. You got schemer running, you got under 2 rated who can play when he sets his mind to it.
Right.
And then you got Jay Blaze and Omatic. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be an interesting division because I think this is a toss-up who owns this division. So, Taz, who do you think has, going into that first season where there's no trades, you know, you got to play with what comes out the box. Who takes this division first?
Ooh, that's going to be really interesting to see, but I'm going to have to give the edge to Schemer. I think the Titans team is in a good position with the talent on the field. Yeah. I think the Colts are coming in with a close second, but we just have to see how Omatic does with that team right now. But you know Schemer's ready. Schemer has been studying and practicing plays in his head and probably got a chalkboard in his bedroom that he's drawing up plays. So, Schemer's ready. Schemer's ready.
Schemer knows this team forwards and backwards. He knows the wives and girlfriends, all their players, what their favorite food is at Chick-fil-A. Schemer knows everything about this Titan football team. And I don't know if he's going to win the first one. I'm going to go under 2 rated, takes the first year. I hope he's energized and ready to go. But, Embro, who wins the most division titles in this AFC South?
Man, this to me is the most interesting division out of all 8 divisions in the Dynasty. In this division, only one person made the playoffs in Madden 20, and that was Schemer twice. So out of 4 teams, 10 seasons, you had 2 playoff appearances. Now, I think JB is going to be the one that wins the most out of this group. I think he finished Madden 20 really strong. I think he has an idea of where he wants to go with the Houston Texans. You got Deshaun Watson, who was really good last year. You got J.J. Watt. You have some great pieces in Houston, and I think his stick skills got better. You saw towards the end of the cycle last year, he was competing in a lot of games. He lost a lot of close games, I mean, he went 10-6 that last season and lost on a tiebreaker. So I think JB's going to win the most out of this group. I'm disappointed that Schemer ran away from Flair. I think Schemer thought he could come to this division and run it, but I don't think that's going to be the case. But the wild card is going to be Under, man. He's got a great roster there, a lot of youth. He's got a lot of draft picks, so I'm interested to see in that first couple of seasons if Under can get the roster that he wants. If Under can get those players he wants, then I think that he could be a wild card in the division. But if I had to put money on it, I think JB's going to win the most out of that group. But I think it's going to be well balanced with the whole cycle.
All right. Oh, Maddox, don't let me down. I got the Colts winning the most, but I'm just going to go with the Colts. I think they have the most talented team in this division. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. Is this division where it's supposed to be, Bus? They supposed to be 8?
I think they're supposed to be 8, but if you're gonna vote on like which division is most interesting and intriguing, then this division will probably be a lot higher. But just on talent alone,
it would be number 2.
Yeah,
it would be number 2 as the most intriguing division. But we'll talk about that later as we get close to the top. All right, at number 7, let's move on. It's the AFC East. And we know last year in the AFC East that you see him there at Tightwork and those Dolphins ran this division. It was his division. There wasn't any question about it. And he just completely shut that division down last year. But now he's going to have some competition in the form of a Matty Ice taking over the Buffalo Bills. You got Marley going home and taking his Jets. And then we got Bino taking over the Patriots. Who I think has probably the hardest journey in this division would be the Patriots. But Taz, is this still Tightwork's division, or do we see Matty Ice compete year in and year out?
It's going to be close between the two. Both of them know how to build and develop their teams really well. So it's going to be fun to watch the competition between those two. But truthfully, I don't think we can discount Marley and Bino because we really didn't see them have the chance to build a team from the beginning and what they can do. They just had to struggle with what they inherited. So it's going to be a fun division to watch because I'm going to be watching the Jets and the Patriots to see how they come along over the course of the cycle.
Yeah. Embro, do you feel like this is going to be Tightwork's toughest cycle? And not just necessarily because of Matty Ice, but you got a team with the Jets who's got talent and has some great picks coming up with that Jamal Adams trade. But do you feel like Tightwork's going to have to actually grind this cycle versus what he's been able to do in the past?
Man, I watched Tightwork last cycle, man. He had the worst overall team on the game. I remember him taking a screenshot, and I think the Dolphins were like in the 60s overall.
Yeah, facts.
And towards the middle, his team was at like a 90. So Tightwork has been, running with them Dolphins for years. They've been garbage in real life for years. So unfortunately, he gets the end of the deal where they're garbage on Madden. But Tightwork's a great GM. He knows how to maneuver pieces and draft picks to make it work. So I think Tightwork's going to grind like he always grinds. But I think Matty Ice is going to give him a run for his money because I think on paper, the Buffalo Bills have one of the top 10 teams on Madden purposes. They're loaded on both sides of the ball. And, Matty Ice is a wheeler and dealer, so he will trade pieces after season 1 to get the picks and pieces that he wants. I honestly think that Matty will win season 1 based off of the rosters, but I think it's going to be a battle between those two for the cycle. I'm not counting out Marley, but I think he has a long road ahead of him with the Jets because the Jets don't have one superstar or one superstar X factor on their roster. I believe maybe the rookie may be a superstar, if I'm not mistaken, the left tackle. And the Patriots, they're just trash, man. I mean, how he took the Patriots over the rest of the teams out on the board is mind-boggling. But I don't see Bino winning one division title in that group. I think it's going to be a race between Tightwork and Matty Ice. But Tightwork's a multiple, banner hanger in the DML. So if I had to give an edge to somebody, obviously it's going to be Tightwork.
All right, Bus, you know tight work probably better than anybody in the Dynasty. Is this his division, or do you see Matty Ice? And listen, I don't want to discount Marley and Bino, but two great guys here in the Dynasty. Love y'all, but Madden 22 will be out at some point. Bus, do you feel like this is going to be maybe Matty Ice's division and tight work has to take it from him? Because Matty Ice is a great Madden player, but can he last the entire cycle dealing with a guy like tight work?
Well, I'm gonna discount Bino and Marley. They'll compete for third and fourth, and between Matty Ice and tight work, I'm gonna agree with Embro to say I think Matty Ice may take season 1, but after that, I think it's gonna be tight work's division. But I can see Matty Ice maybe slipping and winning another, but it's gonna be a battle between those two teams, the Bills and the Dolphins. The Jets and the Patriots are just there to fill up seats or whatever. But yeah, we'll see the Bills and the Dolphins competing for the division.
Taz, are they at the right spot at 7? I mean, you got 2 guys in there. I mean, Matty Ice has been in Super Bowls.
Yeah,
Dynasty.
yeah.
And tight work has 4 banners.
I don't think they should be 7. Maybe 5, 6, somewhere, but not 7. I don't think they should be 7. But that's
I thought
where
they should
they're
be
at.
a little higher as well. I would have had them a little higher.
I also had them a little higher. I had them in the top 4 for sure. Just because Matty Ice and tight work are 2 guys that between them have banners and have multiple Super Bowl appearances. Should have been a little bit higher. But let's look at 6 because we're going to find out, because that NFC South comes in here at number 6. And you got the commish, Nasty Noop with the Falcons for the 456th time in the Dynasty. You got Andy Force. Now, this is the pick here that I think Andy Force kind of snuck in here in this division, taking the Bucks. You got C-Rob going back to his Carolina Panthers. And then we got Butters, who's the unknown, taking the Saints. Is this division that much better than the NFC South? I mean, in the AFC East? I mean, how many Super Bowls are in this division? Noop's got 1. Force has 1, right? Am I missing? I mean, that's 2 Super Bowl winners. C-Rob, only way he's making a Super Bowl in the Dynasty is if someone invites him to go and sit in a seat next to him. Butters, I don't even know if Butters has seen an NFC or AFC championship game. Is this division better than the AFC East, Embro?
No, it's not. I mean,
so Dynasty messed this one up.
If you put the top 2 players in that division, if you say Noop and Forrest are 1 and 2, and you put Matty Ice and Tywork as 1 and 2 in both the divisions, who's going to beat the other? AFC East every time, man. I love Andy Forrest. I love Noop, but they're not going to compete with Matty Ice and Tywork. I think the AFC East was definitely graded lower than they should have been. The NFC South, man, it's a toss-up. Like you said, Forrest was the wild card, man. Him taking the Bucks, it surprised me. I did not see him going there. His Niners got taken pretty early in the draft, so he definitely has the best roster season 1 when you got Tom Brady and the rest of them guys on the roster. But it's going to be a toss-up. It's going to be interesting to see if Forrest can take that old age Buccaneers with those high talents and continue to evolve the younger pieces and add younger pieces as we go over 9 seasons. But if I had to pick season 1, I think Force is going to win it. I don't know much about Butters, man. I really don't. I followed him a little bit in the blueprint. He didn't really show much in the last season in Madden 20. C-Rob is C-Rob. He's going to be hit or miss, man. Some seasons he looks great. Other seasons you're like, what the hell is going on? Noop, man. Noop, I put my neck out there. I don't know how many times in Madden 20 calling him saying he was going to win the division, and then he failed me. So I'm hoping that the new gameplay and some new division mates are going to maybe inspire him to play better for me. But if I had to pin a winner for most of the cycle, it's going to be Andy Forrest, man.
Yeah, Butters is a jag. He's just a guy. C-Rob is going to run 25 million curl routes. And this division, to me, is going to come down to the Falcons and the Bucks. Can the commish, who, to be honest, one of the greatest commissioners in any franchise across any platform. The man is amazing. But when it comes to when the ball is on the field, we need the old nasty noob to show up. That 2016 Atlanta Falcons in your face, man coverage, shut it down, nasty noob for him to play. To me, Bus, this is Andy Force's division to lose every season.
I totally agree. I think Embro hit it on the head. I'm hoping I can see Nasty Noob win at least 1 or 2, make the playoffs, but I don't know a lot about Butters either from past seasons. C-Rob's, like y'all said, it's gonna be C-Rob, but I'm thinking he could be inspired by getting his Carolina Panthers back. So look for C-Rob to maybe win one division title. That's just
Taz, does Butters find a way to beat the odds? He's got a talented roster there in New Orleans. Does he find a way to get a division and compete against these other three?
I was going to say the same thing. Butters has probably one of the most talented teams in that division. And it depends on what Butters shows up. I mean, Butters is one of the older Dynasty guys that's back. He in the past he could play a little bit. Well, we gonna see. C-Rob, I hope C-Rob can pull something out the hat this cycle. But I agree with what you already said. It's gonna be between those Bucks and the Falcons. I think the commish is on a mission since he got super duped into this.
He got baited for sure.
By my man,
he got
Breezy.
baited. he got baited to take the Falcons, his hometown Falcons.
Oh my God, yes. He didn't want to have to deal with the financial headaches. He had his eyes on the Cardinals. They were there, and my man Breezy got him.
He allowed him to he talked him into it with the Twitter, huh?
Oh my gosh. I hate
Twitter fingers.
I hate seeing it happen. But I think he's on a mission now. So I think the commission is going to do some things this cycle.
I certainly hope so. They definitely should not have been at 6th. To me, they could have been at 7th or even 8th place. But let's move on to the next one. Coming in at number 5 is the NFC West. And in the NFC West, this is where we're going to start seeing some excitement as we start looking at some of these divisions. You got King Vitamin, who's taking the Seahawks. Flair's in this division? All right, let's maybe not so much excitement.
Flair here.
Chris Murphy has those Cardinals. Flair's got the Rams. And then Bruce taking those 49ers. All right, Bus, who's winning this division?
This is a really tough one. And I really feel like this division should have been a slightly higher. But I'm just going to eliminate King Flair. So it's going to be out of 3 teams. It's going to be out of King Vitamin, OG Murray, and then Bruce. So
hey, Flair's the GOAT, man.
Yeah.
Flair's the GOAT in his own house.
Yeah.
Shout out to Flair. Listen. No slander to Flair. We love the homie Flair. He's one of the brothers. He's hilarious. We think the dude is amazing. But he has 0% chance of winning this division unless Vitamin, Murray, and Bruce all take vacation at the same time for the same season, and he's the only one there. It's the only way he wins. Go ahead, Buzz. Sorry.
So what you're saying is you hope what happens to HBO making the playoffs? That's how Flair gonna make
the only way HBO made the playoffs.
Yeah, I just want to put that out there. But anyway, let's stay focused, man. This division is really gonna be wide open, I think. But you got Bruce and OG, who was in the division last year, so they kind of know each other. And Bruce won most of the those divisions last cycle. But then you got King Vitamin coming in here, who doesn't have to worry about drafting a quarterback right away. he has a guy like Russell Wilson in that defense. Now they got Jamal Adams. Man,
Wow.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say King Vitamin will win the first season. Then it's gonna be Bruce. Then it's gonna be Bruce. OG may get one in there if he can get his schedule and everything right. But yeah, I'm gonna say King Vitamin gonna win the first one, and then it's gonna be between Bruce and King Vitamin. OG may slip in there and win one. He's gonna be competitive with that team because you got Isaiah Simmons, you got Kyler Murray, you got Hopkins, Fitzgerald. I mean, come on, man. Like,
They got talent in
there's
Arizona.
no way you shouldn't compete in that division with that team. But you got some dogs in King Vitamin and Bruce. Bruce gonna be ready to play because he got those Niners.
He got the squad he wanted, and Taz. When we talk about a King Vitamin, who's really kind of that quiet assassin, he's not one of those guys. He's not going to be in chat every day. He's not a rah-rah guy like an OG Chris Murray. He's just kind of in the background, and when you play him, you got to bring your A game. Do you think this division has a back-to-back winner at any point during this cycle? Do we feel like Bruce is talented enough that he can win back-to-back, or do you think it's a different winner every season?
Wow. Right now, I'm going to say we might see a different winner every season, just because depends on how everyone finishes at the end of each season and what type of moves they make in the off season to improve their team. The 49ers, overall, great team, but I don't think Bruce is going to win anything with Jimmy Garoppolo. OG, Cardinals, they got talent, but he still needs a little bit more. Vitamin, definitely season one in just the best position to take it, and then to keep building from there. So I see it between those three. I just see probably a different winner every season.
Yeah.
Minus Flair.
Minus
Flair.
Flair. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Minus Flair.
Embro,
Flair be with me on the golf course.
Yeah. Embro, we're not giving a lot of credit to the OG Chris Murray. And that may be because he's selling pallets of disinfectant wipes and he's not as focused as he used to be. But we talking about a banner winner here in the Dynasty, a guy that took a Steelers team and competed. We call him Tank Murray for a reason, but he showed last cycle he can compete. I think Bruce really got, the best of him, for most part of the cycle. But are we kind of sliding the OG more than we should in that Arizona system? Because they got a lot of talent in that group and a lot of talent coming out the box.
I think a little bit. I think OG is going to compete throughout the whole cycle, depending where his mind's at and how interested he's in. I know he was pretty hyped up in the first half of the cycle last year because him and Noop had that bet, for a free Madden 21 copy, and OG came through and sealed the deal. But, OG likes to pass the ball. He likes fast receivers. He likes a fast quarterback. And what does he have? He has all that in Arizona, man. I think he's definitely going to compete. But KP beat me to it. I think Vitamin's going to win season one, man. I think you saw last year when the game dropped, I played Vitamin in the Super Bowl season one. He had the Chargers, and the Chargers had a great season one roster. I mean, great season one roster. He had Phillip Rivers. He had the whole gang, man. So when you look at Seattle's roster with Russell Wilson, the receiver they got, Metcalf, and those defenders. Yeah. I mean, you got two players and Bobby Wagner and Jamal Adams. I mean, it's crazy. I think him and Bruce are going to fight season one. But like Taz touched on it, it's all about roster management, for these guys. Bruce, I think, does not like Jimmy G. You saw Jimmy G last cycle, get let go by Niner time. I don't think Bruce is going to invest in Jimmy G, and I think he's going to find his next quarterback somewhere else. So I think Vitamin's going to come out and win the first one, but I think it's going to alternate between him and Bruce. And I think OG in the middle of a cycle, he might tank a couple of seasons. He might not say it, but he might tank a couple of seasons to get some other pieces he wants. And I think he's going to slide in and maybe take one, if not two, divisions throughout 9 seasons.
Yep, I agree. I think the OG Chris Murray is going to surprise a lot of people with those Cardinals. But let's
and
move
Flair,
on.
He has
go
zero
ahead.
chance. And Flair has zero chance. Yeah. I mean, he just has no chance. Flair's a cool guy, man, but when it comes to batting stick skills, he has no chance.
All right, coming in at number 4, the shock of the show is the NFC North. First off, we got to give a shout out to the homie Nasty Noob. In the pregame show, Nasty Noob said there is no way in hell this team should be at number 4. And I'm going to agree with it, Taz. You got Centaur, the newest member of the Dynasty, taking the Lions. He had the last pick, or I guess the Lions picked him. You got Darkness, Mr. 8 p.m. Eastern himself with the Vikings. Solomon Kane has the Bears. And then you got the 7-time, am I correct, Embro? 7-time Super Bowl champion back at home with his Green Bay Packers. I don't want to waste a lot of time talking about who wins this division, who's the most talented, none of that matters. Embro, if you lose a division title in this Madden 21 cycle, you can no longer be on shows with your boy Expert. This is supposed to be a beatdown 9 seasons in a row. My question to you guys is, Bus, where should this division been placed?
8.
Because obviously 4 is not the right one.
8. This should have been last.
Worst division possible.
Yes. Even though Embro has, multiple championships, and I think I might have said it before, it's like having make 100 on a test, and then next 3 weeks you make zeros. It's gonna bring your average down, and that's what these guys did with Embro. So
couldn't put it any better than that.
I mean, what else can you say, Taz? I mean, the man said it's like making 100 and then 3 straight zeros. Where your grade gonna be at that point? There's no way this division should be in the top 4.
No.
How is this division ahead of tight working Matty Ice in the AFC East? Who was at 7? Dynasty users, how can you justify putting this team here at 4, Taz? How is that possible?
I think it just goes, the respect goes to Embro for what he accomplished last cycle. And that's the shining light for the entire division. And I'm not saying y'all suck. I'm just saying,
man,
y'all not about to beat Embro this cycle.
Say it with your chest, man. Come on, don't be bashful.
Man, they suck.
Right, Embro.
That's another show. This is why you suck.
Yeah.
That's on Numbers Don't Lie, isn't it?
Yeah. Shout out to you, Buzz.
Shout out to Buzz Sweets and Tight Work for sure.
Yeah.
Numbers Don't Lie. We'll be back on the DML Network. Y'all be ready for that as those guys get back in the lab. But Embro, go ahead and explain to me why this division should be 4th.
I'm not ranking my own division that high. When I did my own poll, I think I had it at 6 or 7, if I'm not mistaken. I think I had it in front of the AFC South and NFC South. I just don't think that the other 3 guys in the division outside of myself are worthy of being at number 4. Not knocking them, not saying they're bums, but I don't know much about Centaur outside of his trophies from other divisions and rings and all the other leagues, but he didn't show much in the last season. He looked like one of the worst users in the DML in the last season. Darkness, ever since I've been here, hasn't shown much. Solomon Kane, it's hit or miss, man. Sometimes you're like, yo, this guy looks like he could compete. Other times you're like, yo, man, what the hell you put on the field? So dealing with that all cycle, I'm interested to see how it plays out. But if I lose a division title from Madden 21, I will quit Madden for the rest of my career. Hands down.
No doubt.
You shouldn't lose to any one of those guys. You shouldn't lose to any one of them guys.
You should never lose a division game versus these 3.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Madden, so anything happens, but I anticipate going 18-0 and winning all 9 divisions. Last cycle I said, hey, I was winning 9 for 9. I won 7 of 9. KP took 2 of them from me, so I feel more confident this time around saying I'm going 9 for 9 unless life happens and something slaps me in the face.
there is no KP in this division.
Sad,
first
man.
off,
It's
none
sad.
of these other three are even allowed to carry KP's helmet off the field. There is no. First off, Dynasty, I still don't understand how you put this group at 4. So after you watch this show, please put down in the comments. Go ahead and put your rationale of why this division was ranked in the top 4, because we're going to look here in a minute at the top 3. And for you to say that these guys are close enough to these top 3 is just ridiculous to me. And we'll start at number 3, the AFC North. And let's look at this group. You got Kal-El taking the Browns, Addy 5 at the Ravens, Skill Trade, okay, at the Steelers. And then you got Taz at back home again with his Bengals. Are we trying to say, Taz, that division in the NFC North is close to this division?
No, man, come on. in NFC North, I on mine, I ranked them 8th. Like I said, it's no disrespect to anyone in the division, but I mean,
Say it with your chest, Taz. Say it with your chest. Come on, man.
Bus really put it. He just explained it perfectly.
I couldn't have said it any better. Right.
You're 1 week and then zeros the next 3. What's your average?
25.
Now, I ain't saying I won anything. I've got lucky enough to make a playoff appearance in my time in the Dynasty. I can say that. But let me tell you, I'm going to compete. It's hit or miss. I might get you one time along the way. So skill trade, say he ain't in Buffalo. We'll say that. We ain't in Buffalo, so we'll see what skill trade do. But we got Addy and Kal-El, perennially in the playoffs, have been to Super Bowls. Kal-El, both of them got banners.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, there you go.
Embro, is this Addy's division to start? I mean, he's obviously probably has one of the most talented teams, not just in this division, but in the entire game, he's got one of the most talented teams. And we've given him the most mobile quarterback in the game, along with a superstar wide receiver. You got a defense that can run around. Is this Addy's division, or does Kal-El compete year in and year out?
Man, this is going to be a dogfight all 9 seasons. If y'all don't remember, in season 2, Madden 20, Kal-El and Addy played in the Super Bowl and Kal-El won. So they've played each other before. The Browns, if you look at their roster, they are nice on every level of the football field. And what does he like to do? Pass the ball. You got Baker Mayfield, OBJ, Jarvis Landry, and Njoku, Austin Hooper. I mean, you got a lot of talent on that field. Season 1's going to be really fun to see these two guys. It's all going to come down to, is Kal-El going to make any moves past this point? Because you saw after a couple of seasons, that Niners team regressed. They lost a lot of pieces. I don't know if he wasn't paying attention. I mean, Hawaii time is different than Easter time, so maybe he missed the deadline. But he let a lot of great pieces go for free instead of trading them. Addy, he picked Baltimore at 1. He has a plan for Lamar Jackson. You will not see the Baltimore Ravens in a shithole situation that you saw them in Madden 20. HBO's office has been cleaned out, and you will not see garbage all cycle. I think Addy and Kal-El are going to battle all 9 seasons. If I had to give an edge to one or the other, it's going to be Addy because of the quarterback. But I think Kal-El's a close 2. Skill trade, cool dude, man. But he's going to be finishing 4th every season. Taz, I'm rooting for you, dog. But I just can't see you overcoming those 2 guys to win a division. I hope you do. I hope you win it season 1, man. But it's going to be a dogfight between Kal-El and Addy for sure all cycle.
And Bus, just kind of piggyback on what Embro was talking about. When you talk about GM skills and how important it is to build a team over a course of 9 seasons, 10 seasons, whatever we get in, is Addy one of those guys where you put as one of those top echelon guys of how to build a roster? He's always successful. He's always got that roster going in the right direction. Does that give him the advantage over Kal-El?
Yeah, man. Addy is a great GM. I think he knows how to build a team. I think he knows when to let like stars go to bring in youth. So I give him that edge over Khalil or 90 Time or whatever his name is. I think 90 Time is a great user. I think last season he messed up with a few violations, caused him to lose a few players or whatever. But if he can withstand that, this division is going to be, I think, a toss-up. It can flip-flop every season between Addy and Khalil. Skill trade is where he's at. And, Taz the homie, but I think Taz will compete as well. And there's one thing I like that Taz doesn't have to worry about is he already has his quarterback. Now, if you remember last season, once he got that quarterback up to, was he superstar Taz? Or
yeah, superstar.
Once he got him a superstar, yeah. Taz was competing. Now he got Burrows. So you don't have to draft a quarterback. You just got to worry about, getting him better and then allow him to compete. Mm-hmm. Now, will he be able to, overcome Khalil or Addy? That's going to be up to Taz. But this is going to be a great division.
Absolutely. And a great division that is right where it should be here at number 3. I could see this maybe scooting up to 2, but I'm going to keep them at 3 because let's take a look at the number 2 division, which is the AFC West. You got SJ and the Chiefs. Tone Dog takes the Chargers. You got Sweets 99 has that talented roster there in Denver. And then you got H-Bo, Elbow, whatever you want to call him. He takes his hometown Oakland Raiders, which is now the Las Vegas Raiders. And Embro, when you look at this division, you got no banner winners in this division, but you got maybe a guy in Sweets 99 and SJ that have competed year in and year out and have been so close. Sweets so close to winning his first banner, and he takes a talented roster in the Broncos. Is this Sweets division, or is Inside Zone SJ going to find a way to take this away from him?
Man, SJ is going to have to change his game up a little bit this cycle, man. I don't think that inside zone and that type of gameplay is going to work. I think the run game's been nerfed. But when you say that, you're like, okay, so pass the ball. Okay, let me take Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and, the rest of them cats.
Hardman.
Hardman. Like, the list goes on and on, man. So you're like, okay, so go pass the ball. Well, he can do that. So if SJ can figure out how to pass the ball effectively, it's going to be a 1-2 fight between him and Sweets, man. Sweets, I've watched him stream a few games already in Madden 21. Them young ponies look good, man. Them receivers and tight ends, and if Sweets can fix that defense, man, I'm telling you, it's going to be a long cycle for the rest of them two cats because H-Bo, let's be real, man. He sucks. He's not a good user, not a good roster management guy. He will probably finish last. I don't think he has a better roster out the gate than Tone. If you look at the Chargers roster, it's stacked, man. If you look at it from offense to defense, they're loaded. If Tone can pick up his stick skills, I think he can compete. But SJ, I think out the gate is going to win it because of the roster. But I think once Sweets gets that defense fixed and get some of the players that he wants in Denver, I think there's going to be a lot of close battles for the AFC West for the whole cycle. SJ's biggest hurdle is going to be managing that cap. When you got a $500 million quarterback, that's tough, man. But the Mr. Capologist, if anyone can do it, it could be him.
Bus, do you think Sweets is behind the 8 ball with that defense, or does he have enough offensive weapons to handle this division early on till he gets that defense going?
Yeah, I think the Denver Broncos offense is very potent. I think they can score at will, and he can score at will. I think he'll make do with the defense and what he has until he can get the right players in his system. But, as we mentioned before, he only has to worry about one team, and that's SJ and those Chiefs. But as the Embro mentioned, if SJ can't change his game up and learn how to pass, then I don't care what defense he has out there on the field or offense, Sweets is gonna win it. So That's just my opinion. You don't have to you don't have to worry about HBO. You don't have to worry about Tone. Even though I think Tone will finish third and HBO will finish last. But Sweets will win this division. SJ may get. I'm gonna give SJ 2. I'm gonna give SJ 2 division titles.
Taz, are we disrespecting HBO? Does he find a way to finish in the top 2?
The what? Top 2.
I know it's
top 2.
Now listen.
You have to ask the question. I'm gonna keep a straight face when I give you this answer. No.
HBO, I want you to know your boy Expert is rooting for you and then Las Vegas Raiders. No. It will come down to how HBO manages this roster, because it does not have a very good roster coming out the gate. This is not the Baltimore Ravens. He started Madden 20 with one of the best rosters, and he's starting in Las Vegas with probably a lower tier, bottom tier team, and he is going to have to find GM skills, and that's something we haven't seen from HBO. But this is a hometown pick. It means something different. And Embro and Bus and Taz and myself can all talk to this as having your hometown team. Sometimes it can be a difficult process because you're invested in these players because they play for your team. It's different for the Bus taking the Washington team because he's not invested in those guys outside of Madden versus a guy like me who has the Cowboys. That's my guys. Those are, I want that defensive tackle to play well because he's on my Cowboys. Can HBO separate that like a Embro, a Buzz, a Taz, a Noob? When you have your squad, can he separate that Bus and say, okay, I'm going to let this guy go even though he's one of my favorite players in real life because it would benefit my team in Madden?
Well, I'm going to say I think he can. HBO will trade anybody. I mean, he can trade anybody. I mean, if I'm pretty sure 31 other owners have gotten a DM from him saying, "Hey, do you want Clem Farrell for a first round pick?" So you're already screwing up, and we haven't even started yet. But yeah, he'll trade anybody. Now, the one person that he won't trade is Ruggs. Why? Because he's probably one of the fastest guys on the planet. So he won't trade him.
Now, don't say that because we saw last night.
Hollywood Brown was gone.
Well, yep. Hey, you're right. You're right. So
for Todd Gurley,
he'll trade anybody.
He'll trade anybody.
Bro, do you feel like the AFC West should have been at 2, or do you think Addy and Khalil in that AFC North should have been here?
I would have flip-flopped those two. I think Addy and Khalil, especially with the rosters they have on top of their user skills, would have overleaped the division. I think SJ and Sweets are really good Madden players. I mean, you saw they were in the playoffs for most of Madden 20 in the previous cycle. I mean, if y'all don't remember, last cycle, Sweets had the Cardinals, a really, really young, talented team. It took Sweets like 2 seasons to get that team right. And then the rest of the cycle, NFC West was his, man. I mean, it was a non-competition for that division. Even though Niner Time was always there, after Niner Time won that Super Bowl, it was over, man. He can never overcome Sweets' Cardinals. And I think once the Broncos figure that out and he gets that same type of team ready, I think Sweets is going to do the same thing. But I would have put them 3 in my vote. I put them 3, and I put the AFC North as number 2.
Yep, definitely think this is Sweets division. That is number 2 through 7. We could argue 2 through 7 all day. There's one thing, Bus, that we cannot argue about, and that's who's the greatest division in the Dynasty right now, and it's the NFC East. And to me, it's not close. You got the Bus with the Washington football team. Expert, myself, I had the Cowboys. Big homie, he's the 4th guy in the thing. He's got the Giants. But then you got the other KP, Mr. Kevin Pope, over there with those Philadelphia Eagles. Bus, when you look at this division, is there any debate that 2 through 8 could step up and be the number 1 division?
Not at all. There's no debate.
What does it feel like knowing you are in the greatest division in the greatest Madden franchise on the PlayStation?
Man, it feels real good, man. I'm gonna be ready to compete with you guys, man. I'm gonna be ready to, schedule easy games besides the big homie, but everybody else, hey, I'm gonna be ready, man. I think this is a great division, man. You got myself, Expert, big homies there, and you got KP. I mean, everybody knows how we play. Each person is very competitive. So, but as you mentioned earlier, Expert, I think the one advantage that I have is I don't have any ties to this team.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you look at the other two juggernauts in this division with Expert and with KP, both hometown teams. Yes. We cheer for these guys 365 days. And then you got Bus, who's kind of come over here from his Bears to take over a very talented team, Taz. You talk about probably the two best edge rushers in the NFL in Sweat. And then you got the kid that came out of Ohio State.
Chase Young.
No, we won't say his name. The kid that came out of Ohio State.
Chase is on.
Make sure you say the Ohio State.
We won't talk about that either on Wisconsin here in the Melee household. But you got a very, very talented team there in Washington. And then you got some situations there in Philadelphia, Taz, with that cap space. Mm-hmm. If there's anybody that could do it, it's the homie KP.
Yeah.
He could deal with the cap space. I think they have $26.73 available to the Eagles right now. I think that's what they have available. So he's got to make some tough decisions. But Taz, who wins the first season in the Dynasty out of this division?
Ooh.
This is going to be the tough one because I don't think there's a wrong answer. Because I think you could pick any one of the three teams outside of New York, and you possibly could be right. You got Bus, who's played probably against the greatest Dynasty user of all time in Embro for 9 straight seasons and won divisions. You got KP, who has multiple banners against probably the second greatest Dynasty user in Hot Tub, and he's competed with that guy. And then you got myself, who's got multiple banners here in the Dynasty with multiple teams. I don't think you have a wrong answer, but who do you think has the edge out the box, no trades, what Madden gives you?
Man.
I agree. I agree, Taz.
I truly agree. This is the hardest question of the show because I did have this division as my number one, and oh man. Truthfully, I'm going to give the edge probably to those Cowboys and you, Expert. Simply out of the box, I think overall the Cowboys team is the better team. It's going to be close. I'm going to enjoy watching you guys play all cycle long and watching your roster moves. And by the way, I think KP and the Eagles are down to $20.25 because somebody bought a bottle of Gatorade. I understand.
It happens. It happens.
But yeah, I'm excited to watch the two divisions. I'm going to enjoy watching all cycle, NFC East and AFC South.
1 and 8. The best division and the worst division are going to be the most exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Embro, who wins season 1?
Man, this is I hope you weren't gonna ask me that question, man, because this is tough. Obviously, the big homie, man, cool dude like his family and SJ and Jerry. But you know what, man, you don't stand a chance. KP, the Bus, and Expert, man, all three of your teams are really good out the box. I mean, It's not like I can say, oh, the Redskins aren't good. The Redskins are really good. The Cowboys, they're good. That Cowboys could be 4-12 in real life, and Mad's gonna give them a good team. It's just the Cowboys. The Eagles are really, really good. You know, I think the Bus has a little fire lit underneath them. I think him leaving Chicago for the Washington football team is going to light a fire. And especially, now I'll say this, if the EA developers give the Bus the updated uniforms, he will win season 1.
Please, EA.
You ain't never lied.
Please.
If they give him the new uniform,
Please.
the Bucs will win season 1. But if they don't, I give it to the Cowboys.
Okay, you got to explain, what has the uniform got to do with it, Bus?
If you look good, you play good, baby.
Hey, expert. I've been playing, the trial with my 10 hours.
Yeah.
And the uniforms are. I got a burner.
I saw.
Hey, the uniforms are so plain, man. Like what they have now, they pretty much just strip the logo off the helmet and then the name off the jersey, and then that's what you're playing with.
Yeah.
So yeah. EA, please give me the updated jerseys, man.
That's
please.
And KP is in for a long cycle, man, especially the first. But I think KP out of all the guys in the DML outside of SJ could deal with that Eagles cap, because if you look at last cycle, the first 3 seasons, he dealt with the Chiefs cap. Yep. I mean, every season he was taking practice squad players like it was water, man. I mean,
I will say this about KP. He already knows what moves he's making. Before the game even came out, he knew what moves he had to make. But KP has a little bit extra motivation that may take him away from Madden. If you follow KP on Facebook, you know what's going on with KP. But we'll give big shout outs to KP and his family. But he's got something else on his brain that may take him away from Madden. But I promise you, he already knows what cuts he's making. He already knows what players he needs to release, what players he needs to try and re-sign. That stuff has already been there because he's dealt with cap issues before. So he kind of understands the process. The real question is what these teams look like 5 seasons into this cycle, how much that's going to play a role. And does Bus make changes at the quarterback position? He's going to have to make some decisions at running back. Adrian Peterson is not the young chicken anymore. And now apparently he's got to worry about what uniforms EA gives him, whether he can play or not and compete versus these other guys.
Hey, man,
I never thought uniforms mattered. I mean, I know that's Deion Sanders' catchphrase.
You play good, baby. That's all it comes to.
Play good, they pay good.
I blame Solomon Kane's gear. I blame his gear for the reason why he was not good in Madden 20. I will tell you that. You got all those extra attire on your body. It makes
ski boots.
Parisi, his dude, half his team had chugs on, man.
All right, Bus, you're in the division, probably the most competitive division here in the Dynasty. Do we see someone take over this division, or do you think this is one of those divisions that you flip a coin and somebody's going to win it one year and then you're just going to have to be a dogfight every single season?
Yeah, I personally, man, it's going to be a dogfight every season. You know what I'm saying? And you can't forget, how you got that extra playoff spot in the playoffs now. So, I mean, man, you could possibly see 3 teams come out of this division every season, man. I mean, it's going to be a dogfight.
I can see extra spot. I agree with KP. I think you won't see the same division winner, and you won't see a back-to-back division winner in this division. But I think you will see at least 2, if not all 3 of these teams in the playoffs each season.
I will say this, we used to have a power division like this in the Dynasty that had KP in it, and it had Hot Tub, and it had Dre in it. And they've battled every single season. And just like Embro said, a lot of times, 2 of those guys made the playoffs. I believe in that season, in that cycle, at least 2 of those guys every single season made the playoffs. Yep. And then I want to say at least 3 or 4 seasons, all 3 of them made it. The big thing is that when you have 3 juggernauts in the division, you're beating each other up every single week just about, and you're battling for the division. And it allows sometimes other guys in other divisions kind of sneak in and take those wild card spots. But like Buzz says, you have that extra wild card spot now, and you actually could see all 3 of these teams every single season taking a spot away in the playoffs from someone else. So that even puts more strain on the rest of the NFC of, hey guys, you have to find a way to win the division or you're not going to get into the playoffs. So it just adds that little bit of extra fire into the NFC. All right, guys, that is teams 1 through 7. Debate where they should have landed, where they shouldn't have landed. But let's cover one more thing before we get out of here, and that is the season. The first one out the box in Madden 21, where you have to rely on your stick skills to win the whole thing. No trades. You are going to have to just play with those 53 guys on your roster, and you might get a free agent here and there. But who wins the season coming out the box? And I'm going to start with the guy that won high stakes, which is Embro and those Green Bay Packers. Does the Green Bay Packers take the season, or does somebody else, Embro?
Man, I won the season last cycle, and I won high stakes last cycle. I got one goal, and that's only one goal in this game, in this franchise, is to win. And I would be dumb to say I don't think that I would be the one to win it. I truly believe that I have the stick skills plus the roster to do it. There's going to be a lot of great players in the NFC. The NFC's loaded, but I gotta say me, man, because I believe in myself. I was confident last cycle. I gotta get rejuvenated for Madden 21. I think the gameplay and the new game dropping is gonna be fun. The new division alignments is gonna be fun. But I'm hyped, man. I'm ready to go, and I'm gonna put it on me. I'm gonna put the pressure on myself to go out there and make a statement that it can be done with a base roster, and it gives that extra motivation to do it. All I need is for OG Chris Murray to doubt me in the chat and to doubt me on the show, and that even gives a little bit more motivation. But I believe that I will be in the Super Bowl, and I will take season 1 championship.
Bus, does the Super Bowl winner for the season come out of NFC East, or does Embro take it?
Hey, I'm not gonna say nobody else except me. It's gonna come out the NFC East, and it's gonna be me. I'm putting the pressure on myself, and I expect everybody on this show to have the same answer. If I expert, who you think gonna win it?
Well, definitely the Cowboys take the Super Bowl. And there's no doubt about it. They have the most loaded roster outside of the Baltimore Ravens. So I will beat Addy 5 in the Super Bowl to win the season. But here's the crazy thing. I'm going to do it from the wild card spot.
Now here's the question, KB. Here's the question.
Yeah.
If the Washington football team wins season 1, how does Dion make that banner? What does it look like?
Oh, man.
Oh, crap. I didn't even think about that. I guess we'll have to leave that up to the commission to try and figure that out. That would be funny. Taz, why is the season such a fight knowing you got to play with your 53-man roster?
Man, it's playing with that 53 is playing with that stock playbook, is really digging down, and it's showing who really understands a little bit about football, a little bit about Madden, and just knocking everybody's teeth out. I mean, it's really fun in that aspect, and it's going to be enjoyable this year. It's going to be enjoyable, especially the balance that the game has right now. Hopefully EA doesn't fuck it up by listening to Mutt and comp guys, but hopefully, it's going to be fun to watch. I'm like I said, looking to enjoy the new NFC beast, and that AFC South, and let's get it going.
Should be very, very exciting as guys try and fight with what Madden gives them in the season. You do not want to miss this. Make sure if you're watching this, you hit the like button, leave a comment and a follow, because we have some amazing shows here on the DML Network, from Numbers Don't Lie to Walk the Line. And I hear there's a show coming back called Total Access. Don't quote me on that, but it may come back. But you want to make sure you are involved with that. And of course, the funniest show on the DML Network, the Hurt Locker, will also be making a reappearance for the Madden 21
we rocking
cycle.
all cycle this time around.
So you want to make sure you're a part of that. Hit that follow button. Man, shout out to the homie Bus, Taz, and Embro for jumping on Power Talk with your boy Expert. Great way to start the cycle, man. Appreciate you guys so much.
Yes, Yes, sir.
Good luck,
All right.
fellas.
All right, man. On behalf of Nasty Noob, the commish here in the Dynasty, it's your boy Expert, and we out.